everyone. So in this video, I will guide you through how to become an ERP consultant. And this video is mainly for those who wants to become a ERP consultant or wants to implement ERP in their companies, okay, or want to build career as a ERP consultant and have just passed out from college or have a good experience in business management. Now they want to explore or want to get into business of ERP consultant, like software installations, automations, all these things, okay. So in this video, I will be covering about from the basics till the advanced level, what are the things you need to collect from the customers, how to identify the business problems, how the ERP systems works, all those things you will work, okay. So basically in nutshell, this video is for those who just want to get into ERP consultant. So as you can see here, before starting as a ERP consultant, so many people think about that they have to know a particular softwares or the screens, how it looks like, the familiarities of any product, okay. So that's a very wrong concept about starting as a ERP consultant, okay. So before starting to learn about the software, first you have to understand how the business works, okay. What are the operations, what are the minimum operations, what are the core operations which any business need, either it's a $1 billion business or $1,000 business, that doesn't matter, okay. Like in every business there is sales, purchase, okay, no matter how big or small, with that only you get revenue, expense and all these things, okay. So that's the core part of any business, okay. So before jumping into directly into ERP, it is very much important that you first understand the finance module. Actually, the finance module, I'm not talking about the softwares that you have to understand, okay. The finance, like you have very good, you need to have very good concept about what is journal, what is ledgers, what is profit and loss statement, what is balance sheet statements, all these things first you have to know, okay. Then only like you can understand that how the ERP is working that. But if you do not have the concept about the how finance works, how inventory works, how the stock in and out works, how the valuations work, so all these are the standard business procedures. It is nothing with the ERP. Every ERP have to follow these rules and regulations, okay. So ERP is not developing the processes like purchase sales is a, it's a default part of any business, okay. So you have to first know that what are the minimum operations that every business does every day. So once you are familiar with that operations, then only you can switch to as a ERP consultant, okay. The first thing that you have to know: sales, purchase, inventory, operation, the production. This is if you are targeting only like manufacturing departments and all these things, then only you have to know some specific other modules also, okay. HR and payroll is, though every company is not following that HR and payroll, only big companies or like where the 100 or 200 employees are there, they only use HR mostly. Even they can start from the single employee also, but mostly in our real scenario we don't see that small companies are using HR softwares, okay. But all these things if you learn later stage also, then this is fine. But this part is very much important, that you have to know that what are the minimum things that every business does, okay. Like purchase, sales, inventory, in and out of the stocks, other expenses, all the expenses, whether it's a say sales or purchase. Apart from that, like salary, like day-to-day expenses, all those comes under finance. So once you know all of these things, then only you can talk about the ERP, because these things are only included in ERP systems. So it is very much important that first you learn about all these processes first, okay. Do not worry about how the softwares look like, how means like screen look like, how familiar it is. But if you know how the journal entry you have to pass, then in any software you can pass it. But if you are lacking the concept of how the journal entry is passed, what is debit, credit, then it is difficult for you to learn any ERP, because finance is also the core part of any ERP, okay. No matter which module you touch, it always touches the finance, okay. So in this video I will be covering the basics part, and then slowly in the next video we will go up to the advanced level, okay. Yeah, here you can see business process mapping. It is a very important skill actually, okay. So whenever you are targeting any customers, or like whenever you want to adopt some changes in your company related to the business process management, or like ERP you want to implement for the automations and like better management, okay. Then first of all, being a ERP consultant, you have to understand that how the current situation in that particular company, whichever is your customer or whichever is your company, or you are consulting for your own company or whoever. Okay, wherever you want to implement ERP, first you have to observe that how they are currently working. Okay, and how you want to design, how it would be like after your ERP implementation. Example like sales team using Excel sheet, for example. So here you can say that I can automate with the CRM mechanism. Okay, like where they will collect leads from mobile or like from website, automatically lead will get converted into from website, lead will come into ERP, then it will assign to someone, then someone will get the notification that they have to do the follow up. Okay, so this kind of automations you can think of and you can propose it to your customers. Okay, so currently how they're using accounting softwares, mostly like it's a basics ERP software they're using, like that they're managing, or like inventory if they're managing it's manual. Like most of the people, those who are not using ERP, they mostly go for the manual registration of the stock in and out. Okay, so here also you have the scope that you can implement entire stock module. Okay, with the help of a stock module, they can automate their inventory in and out in the real time. Like if they have the multiple branches, multiple warehouses, okay, then from head office they can see it in real time that what is the current stock level in particular warehouse. Okay, so here if they're not getting if they're getting delay in the stock level and all these things, so with the help of ERP they can get real time scenarios. Okay, so here you can see what would be after implementing the ERP. Sales order automations, like how much order you need to book, what is the current stock, so according to that sales order you can book. Okay, invoice automation, accounting entries, stock update in real time. Okay, so here you can see first, being an ERP consultant, you always have to find the problems what the company is currently facing and what are the advancement they need. Okay, this is very much important. Okay, and also being a ERP consultant, sometimes customer think that's a bigger that's a big challenge, but for you being a ERP consultant, that might be a very small challenge. So you have to propose, okay, this problem you are facing, and this, and for this problem we have this solutions. Okay, so it is very much important that you first identify what are the issues, what are the pain area for that customer. Okay, once you are familiar, once you get all those things, then only you try to find out your solutions, that how you can solve it. Okay, and now here you can see what are the additional tools you should learn if you want to be a ERP consultant. Like, to suppose you are designing any business processes or like flows. Okay, then you have to know how to use flow chart, like swim lane diagram. These are just like a diagram kind of mechanisms. Okay, so when you are designing a process, you always have to use all these things so that you can explain it to the business owner. Okay, and also like you can give it to the developers who needs to develop, or if there are any customizations is required, always flowchart is better option to communicate between the customer and between the developer also, because consultant is like someone who is dealing between the businessman and between the uh, development team. So consultant have to know some tools how to communicate between all the teams. Okay, so consultant is very important role in ERP implementation. It is much important than any developer actually. Okay, because developer you need only when you need some customizations, otherwise developer is not required. Okay, so here you can see how to identify the business problems. This is a very key area actually, how you identify the business problem. This is very much important actually. Okay, so where the time is being wasted actually, like some people I have noticed in, like when I was working in some manufacturing and in oil and gas and like other companies, I used to see they either they have data, or if they have data in Excel sheets. Okay, and that Excel sheets also you cannot share, and the MDs and the management is not getting in the real time updates. Okay, so even though if they are managing data in Excel sheet, but still it is not being utilized up to the mark to take any proper decisions, or like when they are preparing tenders or anything, they are not getting the real time and quick, like in one click, like how much money we spend for a particular project, so we can in the next tender we can use that as a break even point, that we will not go below this amount in any tender or like in any quotations. Okay, so here you can easily identify that even though they're managing some data and all these things in Excel sheet, but still they are not able to utilize it. So we can consider that those kind of operations are time waste kind of. Okay, so where the data is duplicate, this is also a very big problem in any kind of where the SKUs or the number of items is very high. Like suppose for example, you have multiple branch or big companies like who is managing like 2 3 branches. So same item name they're creating with a different name. So at the end what happening, like if they even have the stock is available for example, but still since the SKUs are duplicate, okay, so they are not able to identify that which stock is available and in which name. Okay, so this is also a very big problem. So removing duplicacies from the business record is very much important to get the real data and accurate data. Okay, so this duplicate is a very big problem for like any businesses. Okay, and where the errors are happening, like you have to find out like where the problems are happening. Like even sometimes what happen, even if you implement ERP but the entire business process is not correct, so you have to identify the errors, like where the problems are coming from, where the problems are coming, like and what causing the errors. Okay, so ERP consultant is not only about like you have to just remember about the softwares, remember about like how the screen looks like. It is not like that. Okay, you also have to figure it out sometime of the softwares of the ERP. You have to get into their team, you have to understand how the problem, how they're doing the data entry, or how they're collecting data, how they're communicating between the teams. All these things first we have to identify. Okay, then only we go for proper ERP implementation. So ERP implementation is not only that you will start from the day one with like software. Okay, it is like 50% software, 50% non-software kind of work. Okay, and where money is leaking, like here you can see, I can give you one example. Like suppose for example, you are implementing it somewhere in manufacturing, or like in oil and gas, or like in any kind of retail industries or anywhere. Okay, so sometimes in where the maintenance like driven kind of companies, like mostly you can say for example oil and gas. Okay, so they have lot of motors, lot of like different like uh, means like metal kind of things where, okay, let's take for an example a motor. Okay, so when they're not maintaining the ERP, since every motor almost like they all have the warranties. Okay, but they do not have maintenance of like serial number when they purchase, when the expiry is happening, warranty expiry, all these things. So whenever any error or problem occur in that motor, they do not check. Either they totally change or give it to someone to repair. So even though that was under warranty, so in this area you can easily identify that monies are leaking. Okay, so these are very much important that you have to find that where the problems they are causing and what a problem causing the money leakage and how we can stop it. So when you implement ERP, you just do not give the software, you also give them the entire processes. Okay, that how they should maintain their business, or how they should train their people whenever newcomer is coming, then how they have to train first, then they should start working in their company. Okay, and common real world problem like stock mismatch, this is a very common problems in like every business without ERPs or like without proper management. Okay, manual entry of data, delay in invoicing. Here in most of the companies we have also noticed that they do not give invoices also on time, which cause them huge losses and like fund problems. Okay, no profitability visibility, like even though if the company is making profit but they do not know exactly that how much profit they are making, or like where the from which project or from which area the profit more is coming. Okay, no audit trail, like whatever is happening is like whatever the data they have, it's like that's it. But you, if you want to track like how this happened, what are the problems caused us this much of profit or like loss, so you cannot go with the chain system, like if you have to identify the problems. Okay, so it's like there is no relationship between other entries. Like suppose for example, you have one purchase order, then against that purchase order you have purchase receipt like GRN. Okay, so after that, from that GRN you either create return or either you create invoices. purchase invoices. So here you can see in ERP, in ACCU360 ERP, if you go, you can have the complete trail. But in like if you're going with the manual and all these things, you have to match all these things manually, and that's a very time consuming, and most of the time it never matches. You cannot find out the audit trails. Okay. And also the biggest problem is like management cannot see the real-time reports. That's a very much important that in the high volume businesses you need everything in real time. Okay. So here, like you being a ERP consultant, your job is to convert pain into the system solutions. So whatever the problem or the pain customers are getting, you have to identify all those problems, and then you have to give them the solutions. That this is how you should actually operate your business. Okay. So and how you being a ERP consultant, you will also in with the more experience, you will also see that how other companies are managing and how solutions you have given, how your solutions are proven. Okay. So all those things also will help you to give every customer a better solution.